Good morning to you. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another Me First Mornings. I am your host, Patricia Ribeiro Wolfson. I also host a show called Soul Seekers TV. I'm an intuitive coach and an energy healer, a wife, and a mom to three boys. And my mission is to help you, number one, calibrate your energy. Number two, teach you how to integrate self care into easy, doable steps. And number three, how to embrace your own natural gifts to achieve a life you love. That's my goal. I don't know. If I can achieve one of those, I've succeeded. If I've achieved none of those, I will keep trying. Okay, so um, welcome. Thank you so much for being here on this Monday morning of this week after Thanksgiving. Oh my goodness. I don't know. Has the Christmas spirit hit yet? I know everybody starts getting into Christmas. We celebrated Hanukkah last night, which was lovely. So I'm going to bask in this holiday for a while. I feel like we kind of like jump from one holiday to the other so quickly. I like to kind of just enjoy where we're at right now. So I don't have Christmas music playing yet, but I'm sure it'll happen soon enough. Soon enough. Oh my goodness. My words are tangled. I guess because I just woke up. Well, I didn't just wake up. It's really because I haven't had enough sleeps. So you're going to have to bear with me today. Um, yes. So, for those of you who are watching Me First Mornings and have been learning about the Me First formula, today we are going to talk about the final element, the final channel, as you will. As I described, Me First is an acronym, MEFIRST. M is for momentum, E is for energy, F is for frequency and focus. I like to use those two together. I is for inner work, R is for relationships, S is for showing up, and T is for trust. And we're going to be talking about trust today and how to trust when things are not going the way you'd hoped. How can you have utter trust and faith in the universe, in that things are always working out for you for your highest and greatest good, even when it doesn't feel like that or it doesn't look like that in the moment. Okay, so we're going to talk about that today. In the meantime, let's get ready. So, for those of you who have not yet downloaded my free GPS workbook, so the GPS workbook is the foundation for the Me First formula. It's where we begin. It's how you can sort of anchor yourself into your coordinates. So we're talking about the GPS formula within the Me First formula, or sort of the GPS approach, because we need a place to sort of start off from. We need a foundation. You need a place where you can always bring yourself back to, and that is creating the feeling or a word or some sort of trigger so that you can always bring yourself back to that feeling that you want. So if you want help in figuring out how to do that or what questions to ask yourself, please download the free GPS workbook. I encourage you to do it. You can do it on your own, or you can reach out to me and book a session and I will do it with you, and we can sort of go through all the questions together, and I will hold your hand and help you come up with the best coordinates for your best life. Okay. Next, let's just start. I could really use our, little ritual warm up. So I'm going to do that right now. Let's light the candle. So for those of you who are watching, if you don't have a candle, that's okay. If you are watching, say hi. Let me know that you're here, whether you are live or on the replay. I welcome you. Thank you so much. Totally got distracted and burned my finger. Awesome. Okay. Anyway, so we lit the candle. Try not to keep the candle burning where you're going to burn yourself. Okay. So we've lit the candle. Now I'm going to do a little essential oils. Except I can't find the one I like. So I guess I'm going to have to use a different one today. Oh, no, it's right here. Oh my God, it was right in front of me. It was literally right in front of me. Okay. Clearly, I need to set my day as much as you do. Well, that's the point, right? That's why I keep talking to you about this. Smell those essential oils. You can put them wherever you like. I like to put them in my hair. Oh, great. Now I messed up my hair. Okay, it's fine. You can just smell them, and just let your senses sort of signal to your body that it's time to relax, it's time to release the tension, and it's time to begin our beautiful morning ritual here on Me First Mornings. So let's do that. We're going to begin by taking 3 deep breaths. Okay. Oh, and while you're watching, and before we take the deep breaths, please go to YouTube right now and subscribe to Jumpstart for Change on YouTube so that you can become a subscriber to Me First Mornings and ding that notification bell so that you can get notified when I am live. Okay, now that I've done that, let's continue. Okay, here we go. We're going to take 3 deep breaths. All right. And those 3 deep breaths, they are going to be super, super intentional. You are going to open up your crown chakra, or this area, if you want to look at it sort of as a just opening up to the healing light that exists in the heavens, right? Just expose yourself and just imagine yourself opening up and just bringing in any of that healing light that is in the heavens. And then using your legs well firmly planted on the ground, I want you to imagine your legs sort of like straws and just soaking in the beautiful, healing, nourishing energy of the earth. So we're getting healing energy from the heavens and healing energy and nourishing light from the earth. All of it is light, all of it is energy. It is life force energy that we are bringing into our bodies. And I want you to let all of that life force together, regardless of whether it came from, to blend in your body and go and permeate every single one of your cells in your body and just break apart or dissipate any stuck, stagnant, or dense energy, any heaviness. We want to alleviate that. We want to lighten the load, so to speak, lighten that energetic load. So just let all of those, that healing light sort of scrub away at any of that stuck or stagnant, that heavy energy. And then when you exhale, you're going to imagine yourself releasing that stagnant energy or anything that, is ready to be released right now. So we're going to do that 3 deep breaths. Deep breath in, hold for 5 seconds, and on the exhale, release whatever we don't need. Okay? Ready? Let's go. And hold. And release. Beautiful. And when you're inhaling, I want you to really expand your diaphragm, expand your chest, expand this outward here. I want you to just imagine you bringing in as much possible healing, light, life force, energy through your body as possible. Okay. And then I want you to hold on to it for those 5 seconds. Really hold on to it. Let it run through your body and clear out any sort of energy that does not serve you. Okay. And then we're going to release it with the exhale. Let's do that one more time. Okay. Okay. Here we go. And hold. And release. Oh my God, today I didn't even pick up my spheres. I'm telling you guys, it was like a long weekend. It was Thanksgiving. I'm, slow on the uptake today. What can I tell you? All right. So I have the spheres for the final breath. Not that you have to grab anything for this. Just breathe. That's the only important part, is the breathing. Okay. So let's do that final breath together. Ready? Deep breath in and hold and release. Okay, now let's do a little stretching. So just move your head from side to side, and whatever part of your body feels tense, right? What we want to do is, just as we release that stuck, stagnant, and dense energy on the inside of our bodies, or we imagine, we want to kind of loosen up any tension we have, in our muscles, anywhere else in our body. We want to kind of release that tension. Anything that kind of feels stiff, let's loosen it up. I can hear my elbows cracking. Sorry, my shoulders cracking, not my elbows. Oh, yes. And just stretch. Stretch as much as you can. Ooh, it's so painful because I'm in desperate need of that stretch. Okay, let's turn. And turn again. Okay. Let's go. All right. And now shake it out. Shake it out. Shake out any of that tension, any of that stuckness, anything that doesn't serve you, we're just going to shake it out. Good morning, Lena. Hi. Okay, so that's what we're doing. All right, beautiful. Now we are going to set our intention for the day. So if you have an intention that you would like to set for the day, so this is for those of you who have already gone through the GPS workbook, or even if you haven't, think about the intention you want to set for today. What is the feeling that you would like? What would you like to accomplish? How would you like to feel at the end of the day, right? When you're lying down, and you're taking like a deep breath and just sort of going through your day, what do you want to have that feeling of? Is it, the feeling of abundance, the feeling of love, the feeling of peace, the feeling of completion, the feeling, whatever the feeling is, think about that now and set that intention for the day. So however you want to feel later, set that intention right now so that you can sort of move through the day with that as your intention. Because once you set that intention, then you're more likely to guide yourself through in order to accomplish that, right? And that becomes your, guiding GPS, those coordinates, right? We plug in the coordinates. I want to feel peace. And so you are communicating with your higher self, with your spirit guides, with, whatever energetic or spiritual team that you believe in and communicate with. You are letting them know, hey, we're going on this journey together and this is how I want to feel. And then it's up to you to practice feeling that way in each and every moment of the day, right? As much as possible. We're human. We don't always react in the ways that we like to react, or we hoped we would react, but we can certainly practice. We can certainly practice shifting our perspectives. We can certainly practice giving a different reaction if the reaction is not serving us. So this is an opportunity for us to set the intention for the day, okay? And this is also where I call up our spirit team, our collective spirit team, to help us set those intentions for the day, okay? So here we go. Divine Mother, Infinite Father, Creator, Ascended Masters, Archangels, Spirit Guides, Ancestors, and all beings of 100% pure white light, allow me to be a clear and open channel of your light and love without hesitation or ego. May the highest vibration of infinite consciousness connect with my higher self and release any and all things that no longer serve me. I ask that Saint Germain and his infinitely powerful violet flame burn away the things that no longer serve myself or humanity and hold us back from our divine existence. Help us to embody our intentions for the day and help us raise the collective vibration for the highest and greatest good of all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So be it, and so it is. Woo! All right, we did it. We set our intentions. We're all set. And now it's time to pull a card for the day. So let's see what the energy says for us today. I'm also going to take a sip of coffee because clearly I need it. If you haven't noticed, I'm barely awake today. But if you were listening to my lesson from last week, right, showing up, you got to show up no matter what. That is how you consistently keep momentum moving forward, is you got to show up for yourself. I won't say no matter what, because we'll get into that definitely on Me First Mornings. And I've always talked about how you need to honor where you're at, honor your challenges. And, sometimes honoring that is not showing up. But for the most part, the intention is to show up no matter what. Show up for yourself in the way that you need. Showing up doesn't always mean, showing up on camera, as that may be the situation for me. But showing up is showing up for yourself in the ways that you need at all times. That's the goal, is to show up for yourself. And today is about trust. And how do you trust that if you show up for yourself and if you set those intentions, how can you trust that you will be divinely guided and protected? How can you build that relationship with the universe or even with your higher self? Because I talk a lot about God and the universe, but really at the end of the day, you are building a relationship with yourself. You are building trust with yourself, knowing that you're going to be able to handle no matter what comes your way. That is really the key of trusting. It's not, yes, we all hope for and wish for certain things and certain outcomes in our life. But at the end of the day, we just want to be happy. We just want to be okay. We just want to know that we're going to be able to get through it. And sometimes when we're going through certain challenges, it may feel like it's you know, going to be really hard to get through, or maybe you don't want to go through it because it's just so upsetting or so challenging, and you're like, why me, why do I have to go through this, why is this my challenge, why don't other people have these challenges, why don't other people have this challenge, and maybe you're blaming yourself for those challenges that you're facing, because I'd say that definitely, if you are someone who listens to people in the spiritual community, um there is this, I'm not going to say it's unspoken because it's spoken about a lot, but there's this, underlying belief that we kind of are at fault for what we face in our lives, and it's not about fault, and we can definitely get into that in at another time. But I do believe that regardless of how we end up with the challenges that we need to face in our lives, that we are fully equipped to face them, because that is our destiny, right? And I truly believe that for you. No matter what challenges you're facing, you're going to be able to get through it, because that is your destiny. That is the challenge that you um, need to face in order to find your strength, find your power, find your mission, maybe. And I'm not saying this that I wish any challenges on anyone, and I really don't. And I'm not saying that you deserve any challenges that you're facing, because I definitely don't think that. But I do believe that the challenges that we face in our life are there to help us become the people we're supposed to become here, on this planet, in this physical time and space. That we are all on a mission, and the challenges that we face are part of stepping into that mission. They're part of accomplishing that mission. And if you don't believe that, if you don't resonate with that, or if you don't connect with that, life can feel especially challenging. And it can feel like you're being handed a lot of crap, um, unless you look at all the things that you're being handed your way as a challenge, as like when you're in school, you get an extra project if you're a really good student. So I guess this is life's little way of giving you extra projects for extra credit, so that I don't know what good extra credit is, but must be good for something, because you know people are getting lots of extra credit this year. I don't know about you guys, but I certainly have been. Okay, so I'm pulling the cards. Bear with me. Like I said, I'm moving slowly today. But I'm here, and I'm present, and I'm happy to be here. And then we're going to talk about trust, because it is most definitely a subject that I am quite familiar with, and in the process of navigating myself. Hi, Mom. Welcome. All right. Okay, this is a good card. I like this card, actually. Number 29, coming to life. Can you guys see that? Oh, I thought I had this nailed on like Thursday or Friday. Oh, I did. I nailed it. Yay. You guys can see it. Okay, so it's number 29, coming to life. This feels like a good card. And, what I see from this, and I think we had some sort of like deep introspection cards last week. I think we had something, or I pulled, or maybe I pulled them for myself. But this coming to life card really is about awakening. It's about um, transitioning and transforming into a new path, right? And so maybe things have felt stuck or stagnant, or maybe you've been feeling lost. This is not just for me, but I know this applies to me in my situation right now, but I'm speaking to you. And if this resonates with you, this message is for you. And I think it's for the collective right now. And that is that we have all been in this cocoon, right? The pandemic and the quarantines and things shifting and changing, and people coming to realizations and awakenings, right? Awakenings of our spiritual awakening and our emotional awakening, right? Emotional awakening, because when you are faced with really challenging situations, as the pandemic has made us face to face with our own other challenging situations. So the pandemic in itself brought the pandemic, and the health aspect of this experience. But aside from that, it also affected so many other areas. So it affected a lot of people financially. It affected a lot of people emotionally. It affected a lot of people in so many different ways. And when we are faced with a barrage of challenges in our life, then we become, that is when we kind of face our emotions, especially if you're someone who kind of, like me, um, holds back your perceived negative emotions. Okay. Now I'm saying perceived because, we think like being angry or jealous or, sad or depressed, those are negative emotions, or that's how we perceive them. But that is not what they are. Emotions are simply emotions, and they move through us, and they are indicators. They are information to tell us, how we feel in relation to what is going on. Now you're like, well, no shit, Sherlock. Of course, like, I feel sad about this situation. Thanks for the information, right? But it really is your body communicating with you. And then you have to like respond in kind, right? Acknowledge, witness, right? And we're going to talk about this maybe tomorrow. I want to talk a lot about witnessing a situation versus wallowing, right? Because that's a big difference. But I think we're going to talk about that tomorrow. But you need to witness every situation that you are going through and experiencing. And as you do that, and you have this emotional awareness of how everything feels, this is what's happening right now, where we're all starting to feel fed up, or at our limit with those emotions that we maybe aren't very happy with, or, they definitely serve us. So I'm not going to say they don't serve us, but they are strong, and they're coming in strong, and they're staying for longer because we've spent so much time negating them and ignoring them and pretending they don't exist. We've been pretending sadness doesn't exist. We're pretending, that hatred doesn't exist. We're pretending that all these things don't exist, but they do, and they need to be acknowledged. And as you start to acknowledge all the parts of yourself, the angry parts, the jealous parts, the sad parts, as well as, the happy parts and the fun parts, right? Then you can start to come together and come alive, right? And this is coming to life, because now you're no longer a robot or an automaton just doing what you're supposed to do and getting up, going to work, doing our things, right? You're not. Now you're a living, feeling, breathing human being who's like, wait a second, I don't like how this feels. This is not feeling right to me. What can I do to shift this? What can I do to change this? Because we're feeling these compounded feelings and compounded emotions that we've been ignoring, and now we can't ignore them anymore. So we have to address them. We have to look them right in the face and say, okay, I am super sad, and here is why. And this is how I'm going to shift out of my sadness so that I can start to enjoy life again. And for you, it may be depression, it may be anger, it may be jealousy, it may be whatever, right? If it's jealousy, it's probably, there's something that you're not doing for yourself that you see somebody else doing for them, right? Or you see somebody else having something that you think you cannot have, but that is just your perception, right? So we have to shift things, we have to move things, we have to awaken things. And now is the time. Now is the time, okay? Everything is coming to life now. And although we're going into winter here in the in our hemisphere, we're going into winter in the northern hemisphere. You know, this is also all a part of the awakening, and you still may have remnants of like having to figure out for yourself where you want to go or how you want to move forward. And so there may still be introspection necessary in your life. I mean, there's always introspection is always necessary, but things are starting to come together. Things are starting to shift. Things are starting to blossom. So keep going. You are doing great. Even if it doesn't feel like that, I promise you, you're doing great. Okay, so let's talk about trust. Let's talk about trust, baby. Let's talk about you and me. All right. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that can be. Okay. Let's talk about trust. And, of course, that wasn't necessarily on purpose. That kind of just came out that way. But holy crap, right? Sex and trust are intimately connected. And that may be a topic for a whole other day, because I can talk about how how to look at trust with the universe like sex. Okay, so we could totally do that. But that really does seem like a deep dive for another day. So what I do want to talk to you about is this. So how do you trust that everything is in the highest good when things around you seem to be falling apart? Um well, this is when trust is needed, right? This is when faith is needed. This is when you have to double down on your belief system, right? And if your belief system isn't working for you, if your belief system is not equipped to get you through your challenges, well, then I suspect you need a new belief system because you are meant to have the tools and strategies that you need to get through the challenges that you are faced with in your life, right? And faith and trust are simply tools, and they are part of the experience, right? I say that they're tools because, it's really hard to get through challenging situations if you don't see the hope in if you don't see a possible resolution, if you don't see yourself getting through it, then it's really hard to stay hopeful. It's really hard to stay focused, and it's really hard to accomplish anything. Good morning, Dad. So what you need to do is, this is an opportunity. Any challenge you face, and when you're facing especially something that's really challenging for you, personally in your life, or whether it's with work or whether it's personal or family, whatever it is, when you're facing something, it's really easy for you to have trust in the universe if you're just kind of being playful, right? And it's like, my kids and I play a game sometimes with the traffic lights where, my youngest, he'll sometimes be like, oh, God loves us because the lights stay green, right? And so, of course, I'm teaching him that God loves us no matter whether or not the light is green or if it turns red, because I've taught him that sometimes, the light will turn red because we're not supposed to go at that time, right? So like because I say to him, well, God still loves us. He's just trying to keep us from going any earlier than we're supposed to. God is keeping us in divine timing, right? So that's a little game that we play. And so it's really easy to kind of play little games like that and say, oh, oh, look, the bird is there. The bird is sending us a little sign. God loves us, right? And, oh, I believe that, my grandmother, I see her in certain things, and it's really very easy to kind of feel good about the signs from the universe and how things are going when everything's kind of easy, right? When things are like kind of hopping along and all the lights turn green and you got that promotion and, you get a raise, or, whatever the situation is, or your kids all listen and get out of the house at the same time for the first time, or, whatever's happening with you, when things are going well, it's really easy to say, God, like I feel in the groove of the universe. I feel blessed. I feel protected. I feel divinely guided, right? That's easy. But the real challenge comes when you are suffering through a challenge, when you have been given some task or obstacle or information that sort of rocks your world, and things suddenly don't seem as easy as they did before. How do you still um how do you still have faith? How do you still have trust? How do you know that the universe has your back, right? When you feel like things are being taken from you, when you think that opportunities are being taken from you, when you think you're being cheated out of life, when you see everybody else having an easy life and you're having a really freaking hard time, how do you build that trust? And this is what it is. It's a practice, and you build that trust like with any other relationship. Okay, if you are with somebody and you're having a rough time with them, right, and maybe you're going through a rough spot in your relationship, if it's your first rough spot, and maybe it's not, right, you got to talk it through, right? And then at some point somebody needs to have a leap of faith. Someone needs to take a leap of faith and say, you know what, I'm going to trust that what you're saying and what we're going through right now is for our highest and greatest good. And that is the conversation that you need to have with the universe. And one of the ways that you can do this that will make it easier for you to build that trust is start strengthening your faith and building that evidence around you. Okay, so I mentioned this in the post. You want to build the evidence that the universe has had your back in the past, right? So if you are in a place where you are losing faith, or you're not in trust, or you're really scared about what's coming down the pipe because things seem to be really uncertain or unsure or way more challenging than you anticipated, I want you to sit down and I want you to make a list of all the times in your life where you thought you were screwed and you thought you weren't going to get through. And it can be something stupid. It can be something not stupid, but from school when you were a kid. It could be like, oh my God, I never thought I was going to pass this test and I got an 85. I never thought I was going to be asked to dance, and I went and had the best time of my life. Oh, I never thought I was going to get this role in the play, and I did, and I was the lead and I did amazing, right? Whatever it is, and no matter how ridiculous it seems, if you really think back growing up, there are always moments where you think all is lost and you think there's no way that I'm going to get through this. And I know that those moments you've gotten through because you're here with me and you're watching right now. And even if you haven't gotten through it in a way that you feel was a very graceful way of surviving it or getting through it, you did it. You survived. You got through it. And that is evidence, right? And even more so, if you can look for the evidence where you thought you wanted one thing and you didn't get that thing and realized later that actually you were redirected to something better, right? Maybe it was heartbreak. I love heartbreak for this type of stuff because, so many of us go through, heartbreaks as we grow up, when we're younger, and our first love, and and whatever other relationships we experience. And especially when it's your first love, you experience such deep sadness and you think, I never felt that way before, I'll never feel that way again. And yet, years later, you're able to achieve that feeling on a different level, right? In a deeper level with whoever you're with, right? Or at least this was my situation. Good morning, bon dia, Ana. So, I want you to make a list of those times where you thought you had been abandoned by God, or abandoned by your spirit guides or the universe or whatever, where you really felt like you weren't going to get out of this place, but you did. And start creating a list of that, especially if you're going through a tough time and you don't feel like you're being guided and protected right now. Then start compiling the evidence of the times that you were guided and protected, that you were redirected to something better, that you believe that you were guided. Okay. That's so important because that is going to be your touchstone to get you through the really tough times, because it's really easy to fall into the trap of saying, like, look at my things around me, look at everything around me right now, because we look at the present as our evidence. But the present is not, we can only live in the present, but there's so much evidence from the past, and there's so many possibilities for the future for you to get through. You just need to trust. And so I encourage you to make a practice of building that trust with the universe, building that trust with yourself. Start making little choices. And if you're making like a promise to yourself, for example, right, because you want to build trust with yourself, if you're going to set something up for yourself and say, you know what, I'm going to start doing this for me because it's a really important part of my growth, or it's a really, great tool that I've been using that I like. You make a promise to use that tool, and then you continue to use that tool. And that is how you build trust with yourself. Because very often the trust that we're lacking is in ourselves, is believing that we can get through, right? Is believing that we can handle whatever comes our way. The lack of trust in ourselves is where so much of um, our frustration comes from, right? And so much of our despair comes from like not thinking that we're going to be able to handle whatever comes our way. So start building that trust as soon as you can, regardless of whether or not you're being challenged right now. I encourage you to keep a little notebook or, something on your phone to remind you of the times where you really didn't think you were going to get it through. Even if it's like, I have a crazy day scheduled from morning until night. I don't know if I'm going to have the energy to get this day, to get through this day. But if you do get through that day, at the end of the day, write it down. Did not think I was going to get through. I totally rocked it. Those are important things for you to jot down and for you to remind yourself of, because you have the power. You just need to remind yourself of the power that you have. Okay, so that is today's little spiel. I will be back tomorrow. I'm here every Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. EST. I am so grateful for you being here. Thank you so much for joining me. And I hope today was helpful. Let me know in the comments, and please spread the word. Pass it along to your friends if you think that they would find Me First Mornings helpful. I know I do, and I'm so, so grateful for you joining me. Thank you so much. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.